Hey friends, and welcome back. Here's the TLDR. Most teams avoid the hard conversations and default to safe choices that nobody's really excited about. Well, today I'm giving you a protocol that makes tough decisions even easier by taking emotion out and putting objective criteria in so your teams can finally commit to choices that actually make a difference. Here's what I've learned. Teams don't need a majority rule where 51% win and 49% silently resist. They need consensus, where everyone can genuinely support the decision even if it wasn't their first choice. The decision matrix protocol creates that consensus by focusing on shared criteria instead of personal preferences. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn a structured protocol that removes biases and politics from decisions, the exact 6-step facilitation process used by high-performing teams, how to get buy-in even from your biggest skeptics. And stick around, I'll share a digital modification that handles 10 or more options and calculates everything automatically. Let's dive in. Let's do a quick overview before we jump into the next steps. And let me show you why this protocol has been a game changer for the teams I work with. This protocol adapts the Pew matrix, originally developed by Stuart Pew in the 1980s for his engineering design process. I've pulled the best elements from 3 groundbreaking sources: The Rationale Manager by Keener and Trago, Pew's Total Design Method, and Smart Choices by Hammond, Keeney, and Raffa from Harvard. What all these researchers discovered is that good decisions don't come from debate, they come from agreed upon criteria. Here's the difference. Majority rule gets you compliance. Fine, we'll do it your way. But consensus gets you commitment. I see why that's our best option. One has people going through the motions, the other has people invested in making it work. Let me be clear, sometimes you just need a quick majority vote. Deciding meeting time for required after-school PD sessions. There's not time that works for everyone, so just go with majority. But when you're choosing curriculum, interventions, things like that, it requires team buy-in to implement. And that's when consensus matters. Consensus doesn't mean that everyone gets their first choice. It means everyone can support the final decision because they help create the criteria. The decision matrix protocol focuses on getting the team to agree on what matters before you look at any of the options. It's like creating a rubric before you grade papers. Suddenly everyone's using the same criteria. This protocol transforms team dynamics. When someone sees their preferred option score lower than another on their own criteria that they helped create, they can't argue about it. Buy-in happens automatically because they help create the scoring system in the first place. So let's walk through the exact process. Here's what you'll need for this protocol: chart paper and markers. That's it. Step 1, define success criteria before looking at options. This is the secret sauce. You define criteria before anyone gets attached to a specific option. You might ask, in an ideal world, what would a perfect solution have? So let's say your 3rd grade team is choosing between intervention strategies. There's pull-out support, push-in co-teaching, or digital adaptive programs. Your team might identify things like evidence of effectiveness. Is it within budget constraints? Is it manageable for staff? Does it minimize loss of instructional time? Does it engage struggling learners? Here's a pro tip. Cap it at 5 to 7 criteria. I've seen teams get bogged down with 15 or more criteria. Force prioritization by asking, if we could only judge based on 5 things, what would those be? Step 2, weigh your criteria because not everything matters equally. 3 is critical. 2 is important. And let's just say 1 is nice to have. So then they'll take this criteria and put that into the decision matrix. The important thing here is it forces honest collegial conversations about priorities. Step 3, now and only now do you list your options. Here's a pro tip. Use neutral labels like option A, B, and C. This is going to remove attachment bias, and then you can reveal the names after the scoring. Okay, we have a decision matrix here for the third grade reading intervention programs. There's 3 options, and they have neutral labels to help provide a little bit more honesty and authenticity when they're being weighted. Step 4, score each option against each criterion. This is where objectivity kicks in. You're forcing an apples to apples comparison. And yes, someone will try to break the system. What if I really love this option? Can I give it a 10? No. That's not how math works. We're educators here. Let's stick to the scale. This criteria was developed by the team. The weights were developed by the team. And now we're going to have each team member score. Here's another pro tip. Have everyone score independently. This is going to remove what I call the position effect, where everyone's listening out to what the assistant principal says, or what the instructional coach says, or the team leader. When you score individually, then it's more honest. All right, step 5. Do the math. Multiply each score by its weight. With the average score, the average weighted score. So let's go ahead and total up the average weighted score for each option. All right, and here are our total scores for each of the average weighted scores for each option. And we can see that Program C wins. It balanced all priorities best. This is data-driven decision making. And finally, step 6, gut check and commitment. Numbers inform, but they don't dictate. So you might want to ask something like, looking at these scores, what surprises you? What concerns remain? If someone says, but Program C barely aligns with our curriculum, well, that's valuable. So maybe curriculum alignment should be weighted higher. Just adjust and recalculate if needed. End with commitment. Can everyone support Program C based on our collective criteria? When they say yes, that's real buy-in. And when you have real buy-in, you've got teachers implementing with fidelity. And it's implementation that's actually making the difference on student achievement. All right, let's look at a few challenges. Being prepared is half the battle. Challenge 1, we need 20 criteria. No, you don't. Let's start with these categories: academic impact, implementation, and resources. Just have your team list a few in each of those categories, and then have them narrow it down to just their top 2 in each of those categories. Then run it through the decision matrix. Challenge 2, someone scores their favorite option all 5s and all the other options as 1s. We all know who this person is. They've already ordered the t-shirt for Program A. They've named their goldfish after Program A. Heck, they probably even have Program A tattooed somewhere we can't see. Here's where we use anonymous scoring. Use folded paper or digital tools. So when you average 5 scores of 3, 4, 3, 4, and a 1, well, that outlier really sticks out like a sore thumb. The data reveals the bias without calling anyone out. Challenge 3, what if all the scores are super close? When you get something like a 46, a 45, and a 44, that is actually good news. It means all options are rock solid. So don't manufacture differences. Either pick based on implementation ease, or you could run a small pilot, or here's a thought, you could flip a coin. When options are that close, execution matters more than selection. Challenge 4, you need to move faster. So here's something you could do, just a quick elimination first. Each person vetoes an option. We can see here that this is round 1 of a screening process where we're trying to reduce the number of options to just narrowing it down to 3 that will actually go into the decision matrix. So we don't have time to put all of these through the decision matrix, so we're going to do a quick yes or no or maybe for each of these options. So let's say we have 5 team members, and we're going to total up how many strong there are. In this example, each team member would use a different color flag to put their rating. All right, so you can see here everyone's gone. So if we just add up our total number of just strong opinions about these options, we've got it looks like our top 3 is going to be digital, the pull out, and the push in. Now you're down to 2 or 3 solid options. Run the matrix on what's left. All right, let's take a look at some modifications. These handle special situations like a boss. Here's one for you. Create a Google Sheet template with formulas built in. Team members score on their own device and results are calculated instantly. Guess what? I've done that for you already. I've got the template linked below and it's magical. Another modifier is to add an equity multiplier. If an option especially benefits struggling students, multiply its final score by 1.2. This bakes your values into the math. All right, let's take a look at increasing our digital intelligence. Here's how AI transforms it with real relevant examples. Here's a pro tip. I know a lot of us are very skeptical about AI. Ensure that AI is providing resources and then check a few of those resources. Think of it as a research assistant. They're not doing all the work, but they're definitely helping you compile the information so that you can go through it faster. You still want to verify what matters. Let's see how AI can be transformative in a middle school context. My 7th grade science team is choosing between inquiry-based, project-based, or flipped classroom approaches. Analyze these teaching methods for middle school science, including alignment with the next generation science standards, preparation time, technology needs, and effectiveness with diverse learners. Of course, you could add to this prompt based on what you'd like to get out of it. Hit that and see what we get. Okay, so you could copy this like right here, and you could paste it into a Google Doc and print it out for your team to read together. You could go through Say the Last Word for Me protocol for analyzing text. Could be a great approach, but let's just do a quick look at this. So inquiry-based, it says that it's exceptionally strong alignment to the standards. Prep time is moderate to high. So again, it might depend on how efficient the design is. Flexible and scalable tech, so that's not too bad. Highly effective to diverse learners. So there you go. We have a general idea. Project-based, it has a strong alignment depending on the project. High upfront investment, but pays dividends. Technology intensive and excellent differentiation. And the flipped classroom, we've got moderate alignment, so not super good, but it depends on how it's implemented. It has a high initial investment of time because you're making these curated videos for students. And the technology needs are high, and there's a reliability on students' access to devices. And then mixed results for effectiveness. So after the team goes through this text, you might narrow it down to just a couple, or you keep all 3. And there you go, voila. In minutes, you have objective data to inform your scoring. No more decisions based on the flashiest sales pitch. Okay, in summary, you now have a protocol that transforms emotional arguments into objective decisions. Define the criteria first, weigh what matters, score honestly, and check your gut. But here's the real magic. It's not about finding the perfect option. It's about finding an option everyone understands because they help create the criteria. Your action step, download my free decision matrix template below. It's got everything pre-formatted with automatic calculations. So next time your team faces a big decision, pull that bad boy out and see what happens. Remember, every meeting spent arguing in circles is time stolen from students. Make decisions that matter. Make them fast. Make them together. All right, as you can see, I have a subscribe decision matrix, And I want to make it a little bit easier for you to decide whether or not you should subscribe to the Teaming Edge YouTube channel. So it's very clear. You should definitely subscribe to the Teaming Edge YouTube channel. See you next time.